Hey guys, I just want to come talk to you for a minute about what has been transpiring. It's been about a week since I ran the Milwaukee Marathon, and the marathon has actually been in the news quite a bit since then. So the race was on Sunday, October 15th, and as of Tuesday, October 17th, the race started making the news as far as its legitimacy. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with the Milwaukee Marathon, it is a relatively new race to the area. It started in 2015 as the Milwaukee Running Festival, and this year it went under new ownership and it became the Milwaukee Marathon. So this is its third year, and it's under its second owner. The entire time the title sponsor has been PNC Bank, but last year there was a issue because there was some people out on the course that vandalized the course and took some of the cones that marked the route and threw them into a ravine. So some of the runners out front end up running further than what they were supposed to. Now, I do know that this year and last year this was listed as a Boston Marathon qualifier, so the distance was actually very important. Last year, with the race being too long, it could have hurt some people's times because they ran further than what they were supposed to, so they may not have qualified for the race. I didn't really hear any fallout behind that, but I know people were very upset that such a mistake was made. This year there was an issue because even though it's under new ownership, what I've learned in reading the different articles and hearing the different people speak, the company that set up the race last year also set up the race this year. And although last year's mistake was not made by any of the organizers or management companies, this year the mistake was made by the same company that was responsible for charting and setting up the route. I can't remember the name of the company, but this year the race was certified by the U.S. Track and Field Association as a marathon, and when that person responsible for giving that certification came out and they measured the route, it was actually a 26.2 marathon, which is a standard marathon, and they were given the all clear to go ahead. Well, the company that set it up, one guy was the technical director, technical manager or something, one of the big wigs. He printed out the charts and everything and then gave it to his team to go out there on the route and set it up according to his specifications. However, I guess there was a mistake made where some of the people that set it up misinterpreted some of the markings on the map, and the race ended up being short by 0.8 of a mile. So instead of it being a full marathon, it actually came out to be like 25 point. So it was like 25.4 instead of the full 26.2 that it should be. Now, me personally, it didn't affect me because I only ran the half. I don't see myself running the full anytime soon. So that didn't affect me, and a lot of the people that they talked to a couple of people that did run it, and they they personally didn't really care about it not being the full 26 miles, 26.2 miles. So a lot of people was not affected, by it. But where the fallout is coming in at is that there were some front runners that apparently would have normally had times that would have qualified for the Boston Marathon and the New York Marathon, and because this race has come back as being officially short, their times don't qualify them, and those organizations are therefore not recognizing their times, and it has upset those kind of people. And I guess if you're an elite runner and you purposely ran this for the purpose of trying to qualify for the 2019 Boston Marathon, then it would be upsetting. But where the where I can see a big problem coming in that is that now city officials have jumped in on the debate and they're talking about shutting the race down. Personally, I don't feel like they should do that. I think they should work with the ownership, and these thoughts and opinions that I'm voicing are those of my own. I'm not being paid to say anything about what's going on. Yes, I am an ambassador for the 2017 race, but it has no bearing on my affiliation with the race. These are, again, are my own thoughts and opinions. Now, I don't think city officials should be taking the stance that they're taking, and so far I've only heard one Alderman Bob Donovan has spoken out about not allowing the company to run do the race again. So, but I don't think he's looking at it from a fair vantage point. I think he's just saying that his mistakes been made 2 years in a row, and therefore the race shouldn't be allowed to go on anymore. Now, in my opinion, looking at it from a fair vantage point is looking at how the mistakes were made, and going from there. Last year's mistake was not made by any of the different people that was responsible for designing, setting up, or managing the race. It was done by some vandals. So take that and throw it out. The other thing is, last year was under a different owner. So again, take that race, throw it out. Nothing that happened with last year's race should matter. This year's race is a whole separate issue. It's owned by a separate company, and the mistake was made by the company that was hired to manage and set up the race. So yes, look at what happened this year. It was a short race, but I don't think it should. This one mistake should qualify for it to be completely canceled and they not be allowed to have the race again. The company that now owns Milwaukee Marathon, they are a huge sports industry company, I would say. They own the Milwaukee Way, which is the local soccer team here, and so they know a lot about sports. But from my understanding, this might be the only race that they own. So they are new to this particular sector of athletics, and so just like with any business, there should be time to get over a learning curve. So yes, this year it was a huge mistake that the race was short, and now people don't qualify for a bigger race that they were trying to qualify for. But I think if you talk to the executives of the company that owns the race, I think it's called Rock Entertainment or something like that, Rock Communications. They came out on social media and on the news and said that they've learned a lot from this here race. So I think they should be given a chance to show that they have learned. And from consumer perspective, I think that given that there were two mistakes in 2 years in a row, and the management company actually could have avoided last year's mistake had they had somebody on that particular part of the route earlier in the race to catch such a mistake. So I would say that for next year's race, they should consider hiring a different company to go out, set up, and manage the course. I think that also they should just look at it from a perspective of the spectators and the people that participated in it. A lot of people didn't actually do the marathon course. A lot of people, the most people were on the 5K, 10K, and the half marathon. So since the problems keep happening on the longer course, the end of the course where it's not a lot of staff and participants, because most people have broke away from the crowd and gone back to the finish line well before where the areas that these mistakes are being made at. Maybe the company that owns it should consider going forward doing a mini marathon, which is nothing but a half, instead of doing a full-blown marathon. And I think if they were to consider that, maybe that will, one, avoid some of these mistakes that has been made, and two, that might make Bob Donovan and other city officials a little more at ease about having this going forward. Some people have said that regardless of what happens, they'll never run this race again because so many mistakes have been made. One marathoner actually said that she was embarrassed to even have a finisher's medal for the marathon because she don't feel like she actually completed a marathon since it was short. Well, from that perspective, I'm going to take the approach that one of the people that they talked to in the article took. Given the situation where the start and finish line was and parking situations and everything, run the 0.8 mile to your car and there's your marathon. Most of us have to walk quite a ways to get to the start line because of where it was located and how we had to park and how streets were being shut down and stuff. So, you technically did do a marathon. If I look at the amount of steps and the amount of as far as the distance I went on that particular day, I ran the half marathon, and just from looking at my GPS for as far as the part that I ran, that was I finished with 13.69 miles. So if I count in walking from where the Uber dropped me off at to the start line, and then gear check, going to gear check, dropping my stuff off, finishing, and then going back to gear check, picking my stuff up, catching up with my friends, and then walking back to the bus stop to go home, I did at least 15, probably 16 miles that day. So I don't know where you're coming from. I can't relate to that. I'm not embarrassed by anything. Granted, I didn't run, like I said, I didn't run the full marathon, so I don't have a marathon finisher's medal. I do have a half marathon finisher's medal, which I'm very proud of, and I would have been proud of either way it went, because I got out there and I did something that I probably otherwise wouldn't have done. But I don't think I really intended on this video to be this long, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna get out of here. But before I go, I do want to say that if you like these kind of videos, go ahead and comment down below, and I'll do more reaction videos to things that I'm experiencing and going through in my fitness journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you have a question, comment, concern, or emotional outburst you want to leave, but don't want to put it on a public forum. Please feel free to email me at efit1981efit@gmail.com. That's EFIT 1981efit@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to like me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, efit1981. My Facebook is Eccentric Fitness. And with that, I am out. Peace.